Welcome to Bar Off the Mat. Welcome to Off the Bar. So what we're going to do today is, what we're doing in this video is working on really emphasizing a little more intensely than if you have a bar, those stabilizer muscles and a balance and stability. So when you take it off the bar, you lose the opportunity to second guess your balance or to get that little help that you get from the bar. So this series has the potential to be a little bit more intense than if you're used to bar at a bar. It also works more from that idea of modern dance, which built off of ballet technique, because modern dance essentially did not use a bar. So a lot of this is geared a little bit more toward the modern dance training that had been built off of ballet. There's a lot more spinal manipulation and things like that happen in it as well, because we're going to really get into working those the stabilizers of the spine, and work the entire body through this workout. But the first thing we're going to do is our pelvic floor and the core are integral to everything that you do in your life in general, and it's something that dancers have for a long time really tried to tap into and work out and get ready to make or get to where they really build up those muscles in order to be able to dance longer, because it's going to be less injuries if you have that. So that's how it will work toward anybody's life. And you end up with better balance. That's one of the big things that you're taught in dance, and you learn as you train as a dancer, is that balance really kind of comes from the core. There's strength in all these other parts of your body, but if you don't have a strong core, you're not going to have strong balance. And so we're going to get started. Just a shout out to Dr. who these beginning exercises are, some of them, not all of them, are based off of his work and the work he has done with Warrior Made, the fitness company Warrior Made. So shout out to them and check their work out. This is adaptation of those, but so if you really like the beginning stuff, you would love what they do. It's fantastic work. All right, let's get started. So you're going to start on your back. Feet are flat on the floor, knees up to the ceiling. And you're going to take one moment to just notice how your body feels. Notice the curve of your spine. Notice where your head feels in relationship to your shoulders, in your ribs, how it is connected to your spine and your hips, and particularly your sacrum. As we do this first exercise, you're going to really engage and notice how the head is connected through your spine. And in dance, we actually call it the head-tail connection. You're going to want to make sure that you relax your neck and let your head do what it wants to. You can take your hands and place them on your hip bones to feel what's happening. Relax your shoulders, neck, and jaw. You're going to squeeze your Kegel muscles. Those Kegel muscles are your pee and poo muscles, so it's like you're trying to prevent yourself from using the bathroom. Squeeze those muscles. We're going to curl the hips and press the lower back on the mat. Now your legs are not doing any work, so the legs are just holding themselves up. We're relaxing in our chest and our shoulders, just engaging that pelvic floor. We're going to release. We're going to arch up toward the ceiling. Let that space come through your spine here. And we're going to contract and press. And release and arch. Contract and press. And release and arch. If you're familiar with yoga, this is much like an upside down cat-cow. And if you notice, my head is doing this nice rocking back and forth. And contract and press. Release and arch. And contract and press. As you do this, see if you can't notice and feel where the femur bone connects into the hip bones, and feel it relax in that place. You can let your breath be natural, whatever feels good to your body. And one more cycle, we're going to arch up, go through again, contract and press, and release and arch. Come back into your neutral spine. We're going to actually take our hands now and place one on top of the other, and then we're going to place them back over our belly. From here, relax the shoulders as much as you can. Your arms are engaged, so you won't be able to, but make sure your shoulders are not lifted up and tight and tense. We're going to relax our neck, relax your jaw. You're going to take those muscles that are below your hands, and you're going to push the belly muscles into that lower palm. Press the hands up toward the ceiling. So you're expanding your belly out. It's almost like you're filling up a water balloon. Expand. Keep expanding. Fill it up as much as you can. And release. And expand out. And release. Go in again. We expand. And release. And expand. Release. Expand. Release. Expand. Release. Check in, make sure your neck and jaw are relaxed, and expand. See if you can go a little further this time. Bigger in that belly, pressing out, expand through, and release. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. As you exhale, feel those ribs collapsing. As they go in, we're going to keep them there. So we have that compression, and then we hold. So this is going to make our breath feel a little bit tight. That's okay. You'll be fine. So we're going to get into shallow breathing just for a bit. We're going to wrap the corset around the spine. So we have this nice strong abdominals. We have these nice engaged ribs. So we're really holding those ribs in. We call it knitting the ribs together. You want to think about those bones coming into each other. It doesn't actually happen, of course, but that's the goal. Relax the shoulders, neck, and jaw. So these are relaxed. The ribs are knitted together. And we have that nice strong corset around our belly. From here, we're going to pick up our right foot off the mat. And we're going to take it back down. And now we go to the left. You can keep your hands on those hip bones. We're making sure that our hips are not rocking as we do this. And take the right up. And take it back down. And the left, check in. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. That corset's nice and strong. The ribs are rocking. So this is called an isometric hold. So we have this whole part of the body is in an isometric hold. If you start to end up with a little bit of shaking, that's fine. That's what you actually eventually want to work toward, is the stronger you get, the stronger the hold becomes. And you actually get to where you start to get a little bit of shaking and quivering. That's just your muscles heating up as they work. And down, and up, and down. Take it up. Make sure those hips are not rocking back and forth. We have one more set. Taking it up, and up, and down. Take a breath in, and exhale. As you do, draw those ribs back in and wrap that corset around the belly. We're going to take our hands up to the ceiling. Our arms are only with as much tension as they need to hold themselves up, but they're not actually reaching toward the ceiling. They're just kind of there. So we're going to keep checking with the ribs, make sure that they're still knitted in and together. Wrap that corset around the spine. Make sure your neck and jaw are nice and relaxed. We're going to pick our right foot up, and then we're going to pick up our left foot. We're going to hold it here. Dr. So-and-so has called this the 3-month position. I think of it a little bit more as a dead bug. Either way, it works your core. Hold this position. Keep those ribs in. Keep that corset strong. Now we're going to take our right hand, we're going to reach it toward the floor. At the same time, we're going to take our right leg and reach it toward the floor. Leave your hand in place. Switch your legs and bring it back in. And take the left side. Open up that left side. We're going to switch and come in and take the right. So we're going to homolateral to a contralateral, and in, and homolateral contraction, and then contralateral, and in, and up, and switch, and up, and open, and switch, and up, and open, and switch, and up, and open. Oop. Switch and up to the right and switch and bring it in and left and switch and in. So this is a variation of the dead bug that if you are familiar with traditional fitness exercises, this is kind of a combination of the work of Dr. So-and-so and this traditional fitness exercise. Keep those ribs engaged, keep that belly nice and strong. And we're going to go one more each side. Bring it in. And bring those knees in the chest, give yourself a little rock. Kind of loosen up that lower back. Getting into the hips a little bit. We're going to bring ourselves up to standing. We're going to go ahead and come all the way up. From here, this is kind of a combination of a Qigong and a modern dance undulation of the spine. You're going to take a deep breath up and in. And exhale, we're going to fold we're going to keep the knees over the toes as we bring the chest toward the thighs. Chin is up as long as it can be, curling over and bring it back up. With a breath and exhale. And inhale. You don't have to think about holding the ribs or the belly in right now. This is about moving the spine through. So we're letting the chest reach out, chin up toward the ceiling, curl everything over, and then the middle of the back is going to reach up as the rest follows like dominoes. Last one, stay standing at the end. And exhale through. So you might have a little bit of heat built during that. So we're going to take our, grab a hold of your weights, and we're going to open up into this wide second position. So now we're going to start getting into some good solid technique and alignment training within dance. So this is what a lot of your barre fitness systems may, if you are familiar with barre, some of you will have heard this, some of you will not. It depends on the training that your instructor has had. But you want to, we'll work from the ground up. You want the weight a little bit into the balls of the feet. So you're not back on your heels. You're always a little bit forward. We're going to do something called lifting up the kneecaps. So your knees are relaxed right now. If you're just standing, you're going to take this lower part of the muscle and you're going to actually lift up the knees. You may have done this a lot when you were a little kid of like, look what I can do with my knees. It's that kind of concept. We're going to take, and our glutes are going to reach toward each other just a little bit. So what you don't want to do is to clench in, so we're not clenched, but they are engaged, almost like they're trying to give each other a little bit of kiss. So the glutes come together. And what that's going to do is help support this rotation in the thighs. We're only rotated out enough to feel comfortable. Do not lock into the hips. We're not trying to force turnout. We're just trying to work those rotator muscles. Now that we're here, we're going to take our arms out to the side, draw those ribs together, wrap that corset around the spine, and pull the shoulder blades down the back. We're going to plie through. As we do, we're going to reach up and over. Think about the ribs reaching long as they're contracted. So we're doing an isometric stretch here. And. So the legs are contracted the whole time you're doing this. One of the reasons dancers get those long, lean bodies is because they work through isometric holds as they stretch and lengthen. You want to follow my breath. I do an exhale as I go to the side, inhale as I come in, and exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. Last stretch, come to center, and we're going to bring the arms down and the legs in. Give it a little bit of shake. From here, we're going to find that turned out first position. So everything we just did in second is similar, except that your heels are now together. Weights in the balls of the feet. You want to lift those kneecaps up. We're going to wrap that corset as we reach the glutes toward each other. Really not supporting that turnout in the thighs. Knit those ribs together while we have that strong corset, and the shoulder blades are pulled down the back. So we don't want our shoulders up here. Shoulder blades are pulled down the back. So we're going to be working through our shoulders now. We're going to come into our plie position, and we're simply going to hold it. So our legs are here in that isometric hold, finding that nice stabilizer, stable position. Make sure you engage that pelvic floor as you come through center. We're going to open the arms to the side, rotate the palms face down, and we're going to rotate the eye of the elbow to the ceiling and back to the mirror or front. And 2, and 3, and 4. We're going to keep it going as we lower the arms. And 6, and 7, and 8, and bring it up. Take a breath in, and exhale. We're going to go through that again. Open those knees over the toes. Make sure you engage in that pelvic floor, lift the ribs, wrap the corset as you come through your center. Keep those shoulder blades down as you open to the side, rotate the palms face down. We go up 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8, and bring it up. You can shake it out a little bit. Come back into that first position, weights in the balls of the feet, wrap that corset, lift the ribs, shoulders are down the back. Reach those glutes toward each other, pick up the kneecaps as you take the knees over the toes. Again, we're going to just hold this position as we bring the arms to center, open to the side, rotate the palms face down. This time we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades as we take the elbows to the back and expand. And 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and last one, 8. Take it down, and now we're up. Take a breath in, and exhale, weights in the balls of the feet. Now we're going to go through what's called a full quarter block, carriage of the arms. Lift up those kneecaps, reach those glutes toward each other, wrap that corset, lift those ribs, and the shoulders are down the back. As you come through center, or into your plie, hold that position, check in with your pelvic floor, engage in those deep muscles we activated in the beginning. We're going to come through center, take those arms as you keep the ribs together and the shoulder blades down over your head, open and close, and 2, and 3, and 4, and now we reverse the other way. So, through the center, and 2, and center, and 3, one more, 4, From here, we're going to find ourselves in this parallel position. You can put your weights down. We're going to hold our arms out the side. If you really want the challenge of holding those weights, you can. I'm probably pretty certain that your arms are going to get tired enough by themselves. Shoulder blades are down the back as you take the arms out to the side. Find this position. Knit those ribs together and wrap that corset nice and strong. From here, we have those kneecaps are still lifted. We're going to try to keep your legs straight. This is called a tie move. Slide that foot on the floor, and when you get to the end, press the foot into the floor, coming into what we call a full pointed foot position. From here, I want you to flex that foot and then bend both knees. Now we're going to straighten and press through the toes. And out. And through. If your arms start to get too tired, you can put them on your hips, the hands on the hips. Keep those shoulder blades down, keep the ribs in. 6, 7, last one, 8, and bring it in. We're going to go to the other foot, press it out, and flex, and come into plie, and up, or a lot of times think of this as a fondue, and 5, and 6, and 7, and last one, 8, lengthen through the body as you bring it in. We'll take those arms down for rest, roll those shoulders, and roll them to the front. Take a deep breath in, and exhale. Draw those ribs in, wrap that corset nice and strong. We're going to take those arms to the side. We're going to take this foot directly to the side, same way we did the front. Flex the foot to plie. And straight. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. And last one, 8. And bring that in, take it out to the side, flex that foot to plie away. Wrap that corset, with those ribs, shoulders are down the back. And last one, 8, and bring it in, roll those shoulders and to the front. All right, we're going to rotate into that turned out position. From here, we're going to repeat that whole thing, but we're going to repeat it and turn out. So again, we'll have those glutes are reaching toward each other, lift up those kneecaps. We do have the weight a little bit in the ball of the feet. When we go into our plie, we're going to want to really make sure that that knee is staying over those toes and that our hips are not coming back, okay? So as we open the knees over the toes, we have our hip is staying as if it were just moving straight up and down, not letting it sit back. As soon as you let it sit back, my pelvic floor muscles are fully released. I want my pelvic floor engaged. When I engage my pelvic floor, it brings my sacrum back into alignment. Remember, we have this head-tail connection, so we don't want this. We want that sacrum actually pointing toward the floor, and it lengthens our lower back. And it helps us lengthen everything up to the ceiling. When we let that release, we don't have that length through the lower back, finding that place. So that's one of those really important alignment things that gets lost in sometimes. All right, so arms are out to the side, straight leg. Take that leg out, press the foot into the floor to push all the way through. You should feel your entire leg engaged in a contraction here. Now remember, weight's a little in the balls of the feet. Lift up those kneecaps, and we have that glute is still engaged in the back. We're going to flex the foot, bend, and press through. And 2. And 3. Lengthen the arms out. Think about your shoulder blades growing away from each other. And we have one more. And bring it in. And going to the other side, pressing out. And two. And three. And four. And 5. 6. 7. Last one, 8. And bring it in. Now we're going to do this to the side again, but don't think about going directly side. Think about the angle of your toes. That is your turned out side. So we're going to come into that diagonal and flex the foot as we bend. And straight. This is our hardest one. Feel the weight in the ball of your foot. Lift up that kneecap. We have 6 and 7 and last one, 8, and bring it in, other side, out, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, last one, 8, and bring it in. I'm going to take some stuff off now. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a shift in what we're doing here of letting our legs and our adrenal glands have a moment of pause into a stretching series. 1. First, we rotate in the hip. 2 and 3 and 4. 5, I call this lubing up the joints. 7, and reverse it. Ankle roll to the other way. 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Take it back behind you. Press that heel in the floor and bend that front knee. I want you to think about the hips being as square as possible, meaning that they're not shifted on an angle, but they're actually, think about the 2 hip bones being flat with each other. Lengthen through again, so we think about that sacrum is still reaching toward that back heel, not toward the back wall. Think about your neck growing, the shoulder blades are down, and we're really pushing that heel into the floor behind us. Straighten that front leg, bring that foot in just slightly as you shift your weight into the back foot. We're going to bend, flex the front foot, bend that back knee, and hinge at the hips. Our hips are nice and square still, and coming over, getting a nice stretch down the back of the leg. Check in with this. Make sure your knee's not flopping out one way or the other. It needs to be directly in line with those toes. Think about your spine growing long. Almost done. If you're shaking a little bit, it's okay. And come up, weights in that front foot. We're going to pick up that back. Really open through the hip and lengthen through the quad. If you need to, you can take your arm out to the side for balance. Again, think about nice long neck. If this is too much on your knee, you want to get some sort of a strap, and you can just have a strap over the ankle and hold it a little bit less. Really making sure that what is happening is that you're lengthening up through this hip flexor, which is going to help open up that quadricep. And release that. We're going to take that leg, still working it. We're going to take the ankle and cross it just above the knee, and then we're going to sit back in the hips as we let that right knee open out to the side. If you want to give this a little bit more, flex in that foot. Lengthen through the spine. You can use your hands on your heel and your knee. It'll help give you balance. Or you can actually take out to the side. Or if you're a yogini, you can put it into your center. And release, come up. We're going to do it on the other side. Take that left ankle and roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take it back. Press the heel in the floor, bend that front knee. Think about long spine as you do so. Think about that sacrum pointing more toward the back heel and not so much the back wall. Keeping those hips as square as possible. Press that heel into the floor. And from here, straighten that front leg. You can bring the left leg a little bit if you want to. Weights on that foot. We're going to bend the knee as we flex the foot and pull the hips back behind us. Long spine stretching through the back of the leg. So this little series of stretches, depending on your background, will depend on where you think of them coming from. I actually learned them in sports years ago when I was in junior high. A lot of people think of them as yoga exercises now. There's a lot of carryover between which came first in that regard. But all of this is stuff that I used to do both in athletics from the perspective of sports, and we also did it as modern dancers. This is not so much a ballet stretch series. And release and come up. Weights a little bit on the ball of the foot as you pick up that back ankle. Open through that hip again. Really let that quadricep open up. Again, if you need a strap, you can have a strap for this exercise. And release that. We're going to cross over that, the ankle over the top of the knee and sitting back. Again, if you want to take a little bit more into it, you can flex the foot. I have really flexible Achilles, so my foot can come like way up, but you can be anywhere in where your foot is engaged. And again, if you want to, you can take your arms out to the side for better balance, or if you want to bring it more toward a yoga type stretch, you can go ahead and have your hands at your heart center. Whatever feels good to you, it's your body and yours to take care of. And releasing through. We have our weights in both of our feet. We're going to take our arms out to the side. We're going to lengthen up through the spine. In dance, we call this coming into the flat back. Press your heels into the floor. You want to kind of think about keeping your hips over your ankles and not letting the hips shoot way back. You're going to feel a lot more down the back of your hamstrings if you do so. So lengthen long weights in the balls of feet. Trust yourself to hold your balance. Try to keep the back as flat. We're actually folding at the hips. So the hips are folding through. Keep it going. We're going to try to find that long diagonal as best you can, still with a flat spine. And then we're going to curl over, bring our knees in, and take ourselves down. So from here, we're going to go into some a little more intense core work. A lot of this is based off of, well, we're only going to do one of them, so it doesn't matter. This is a core exercise based off of the gymnastics hollow body position. Before we go into that, though, I want us to do a little check-in. We have a moment we're going to notice how we feel. Do we feel the same? Do we feel different? How about the curve of the spine, the head in relation to the shoulders, the ribs, the hips? And just to kind of get ourselves organized again, do a little curl in and release up and curl. From here, we're gonna do things just a little different. We're gonna engage that pelvic floor like we just did with the curl and press the lower back in the mat. We're gonna keep this the whole time. We're gonna take those ribs and knit them together. We're gonna keep that the whole time so we have this nice engage. You should already be feeling a little bit right now. From here, relax those shoulders. This is what I always have to tell myself to do. Relax those shoulders. The ribs are engaged, that pelvic floor is engaged. We have what we call the hollow body. You may not have a visual of a hollow body in your body, but you're thinking about hollowing the spine and the hips out, essentially as if somebody came and scooped your belly out. From here, lift those shoulders up. We're gonna lace the fingers behind the head. We're gonna hold this position as we prep our legs. Pick your feet up off the floor. Keep those muscles engaged, keep those ribs together. Take the feet up. We're gonna rotate, turn down. I want you to point through your toes, press your heels into each other and press those legs together. So we're in that turned out position like we were in the standing, and we're really pressing those legs in. So at this point, you should have a little bit of a shiver going through your body. So we're pressing that lower back in, ribs are knitted together, long neck. Our head is resting into our hands. We're not pulling against our neck. We're going to take and lower our legs only as low as you can go without releasing the lower back off the mat. And 2, and up, and 3. Keep that lower back pressed into the mat the whole time. And up, and 6, and 7, and last one, 8, and lower, open, take it, and 2, open the nose, and up, and 3, and 4. Now we're going to reverse, open the knees first, take that shape down, press it out, and up, and 2, and 3, and last one, 4, bring it in, rock from side to side, and reverse, and bring yourself to sitting. So from here, we're going to go ahead and bring ourselves back up to standing. Actually, no. We're not. I am going to do this. From here, we're going to go through the strengthening stretching series. We're going to have our feet are flexed to start. We want to think about our legs are not just relaxed, right? So we have pulling up into the parallel position, so the knees are facing directly to the ceiling. So we're already engaged here, unless you have pigeon-toed, you might be relaxed. You're going to press through your heels as you pull your toes back, and then I want you to think about pressing the backs of your knees into the floor. If you're like me, I'm slightly hyperextended, it lifts my heels up. Your heels might not lift. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you're pressed into the floor. We're going to take lifting up and out of our hips, so we're not sitting down like this. We're actually engaging that pelvic floor. We're lifted up, and our shoulders are directly above the hips with our neutral spine that is as if we were standing. So we don't want to be back here. We wouldn't be standing like this. So we want our upper body to be in a standing position, so to speak. Still knit those ribs together and engage that corset around the spine. Shoulder blades are down the back. We're going to take our arms through center, and then we're going to take them over our head. We're going to hold them here with our shoulders down. So we still don't want to lose ourselves. We want to come up nice and sitting straight. So you're holding the whole time through here. From here, take your right leg, bend, and press it through. And left leg, press it through. This one's going to take a little bit of coordination. If you see what my feet are doing, it's okay, you'll get it eventually. Press through the heel, point through the toes. When it comes back to the flex, you release the other side. And press. And up. Press through. Oops. Now something I want to point out, keep your hands where they are, is make sure that you're doing the same amount of press through both sides of the feet. We don't want the foot coming in, we don't want it going out. We want it coming straight through and press. And both the big toe and little toe pinky are pressing as hard as each other and coming back and up and press and hold here. We're going to take our arms down to center so they get to rest a little bit anyway, still lengthening up along through shoulders down the back. Rotate to the turned out position. Press through the backs of the knees, and we're going to, from this one we're going to bend both and press through those feet. And 2, and press, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Pressing through, and bring your arms down. You can relax it, shake it out a little bit. Give yourself a little wiggle through the spine. Now we're going to open our legs into what we call second position. You just call them open, probably. So that was first position legs. This is second position legs. So we have that same thing on the side. This one we're only going to do the knees up toward the ceiling because we don't really need to turn out much more than that. We're already in a semi-hip turnout position here. From here, this time we're going to hold our arms in a second. But again, you're reaching up, so we're not sitting here. We're pressing through that lower back to bring ourselves upright. We want our hips to be directly upright. And our spine is growing up and out of the hips. We're going to bring our arms through center and take them out to the side. We're going to bend both knees, flex those feet, press through the backs of the knees, press through those toes away, and bend. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, last one, 8, and bring it in, and bring yourself up to standing. Shake it out a little bit. Grab a hold of your weights. We're going to do a yoga position with this. We're about to do an arm series. And so we're going to do a chair pose. If you know chair pose this way, that's fine. I prefer to do the closed-legged chair pose just so that we can have a little bit more stability as we're moving our arms. Either one is fine. This is just my preference. I'm thinking about my inner thighs coming into each other. So I'm actually bringing those legs together. Again, wrap that course around the spine and the shoulders down the back. You're going to take your arms long, press through the eye of the elbow. As you do that, it engages your arms. So we're already in a contracted state. Lift those arms behind the hips. We're going to come into our chair pose. And from here, we're going to pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the upper arms in place so they're held back a little bit behind the ribs as you curl at the elbows and press it away. And 2, press, and 3, press, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, one more, 8, and bring it up. Good job. We're going to open up into that turned out first position. We're going to go through the plies again with an arm series on top. So weight is a little bit in the balls of the feet. Lift up those kneecaps. Bring those glutes together, not into full contraction, but to where they're engaged and kind of hugging into each other. Wrap that corset, lift the ribs and the shoulders are down the back. We're going to bend our arms. You can take it from a 90 degrees or all the way to straight arm, whichever one feels right. We're essentially going to be lifting our arms out as we come into the plie. And bring it all together. And 3, so the wider your angle of the elbow, a little bit harder. harder it becomes. Try to make sure that your elbows are more of what leads, so it's not here, it's here. And 6, and 7, and last one, 8, and release. We're going to come into that wide second position. Again, weights a little in the balls of the feet. Lift those kneecaps, wrap the corset, hug those glutes into each other, wrap those ribs, shoulder blades are down the back. We're going to take our arms through center. Hold those shoulder blades down, keep those ribs in as we take it over our head and find that 90 degree on both sides. We're going to do shoulder presses to the ceiling. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, last one, 8, and take it down, put the weights down. I'm going to do a time check for myself. Alright, working through those plies still. So, we are going to be in a parallel position. We have our kneecaps are lifted. We have the core is nice and strong with that wrap. Knit those ribs together. The glutes are slightly engaged, hugging into each other. From here, bring your arms through center, keep your shoulder blades down the back, open them out to the side. We're going to hold our arms here as we bend the knees, taking them forward over the toes. We keep our hips in line with our heels, and from here, pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to hold on 8. From here, rise up onto our toes and pulse again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's harder. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From here, woo! We're going to straighten those legs. Wrap that corset, lift those ribs. Woo! We're still trying to stay up. Do better than I am. Lengthen up through. And take the arms up and over our head for a balance. And release down and up. Rotate into turned out position. Lift up those knees, wrap that corset with the ribs, shoulders are down the back. Again, we're going to come through center. We're going to take our arms out to the side and hold them. Again, if you ever want more work for your arms, just hang on to your weights here. Keep those shoulder blades wide though, so we don't want to ever droop down here. We want to really have those shoulder blades wide and lengthening through all those muscles, not letting it droop. It's like having wings. Open the knees over your toes. We have the quads are engaged, those glutes are engaged. Make sure you check in with that pelvic floor as you pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hold here, rise on the toes, and pulsing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and straight. Take it up and over your head. Find that balance. Shoulder blades are down the back, ribs are knitted together. Pelvic floor is strong. And plie through and up. Shake it all out. From here, we're going to start with our arms up and over our head. Shoulders are down the back. Knit those ribs together. We're going to take that outside leg. We're going to lift it as we keep it straight out to the side. We're going to open to the second position and pulse. 1, 2, 3, only 4. Press against it to bring it to the close. Now we're going to take it to the other side and open up. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Press and in and out. 2, 3, 4. Press and 1, 2, 3, 4, press. This time we're going to add an element to it. We're going to take it out to the side, open. Before we pulse, rise to the toes. Now pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, lower, and close, and out. 1, 2, oh sorry, up on our toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, lower, press, and in, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, lower, press, and last one, rise up, pulsing. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, stay up, straighten those legs, find that balance. And lower, press it in, and close. Shake it out, just by itself, that should be pretty good on your shoulders if you're using your arms in that isometric manner. All right, from here, we're gonna finish out with our stretching. So a lot of times when I have a bar, we do what's called a bar stretch. This is a modified bar stretch. It works the same thing. It's just not quite as intense. That's the one thing that happens at the bar that's more intense than anything done away from the bar. All right, so we have this leg. You don't want that knee turned in. You actually want it to at least up to the ceiling, if not open a little bit as if it's turned out. We're gonna bring this foot in. We're gonna keep our hips square to the front. For now, we're gonna press through to the point. So you want this leg is now engaged. So it's not passively sitting here. This is an isometric stretch. From here, we're gonna take our opposite arm. We're gonna reach it up and over our head, and then we're gonna reach over the side. Those ribs are still knitted together as you bring up and over that leg. And you can take that lower arm, can either reach here or it can just open to the side. Or, want to take it a little bit more intense, take it and hold the arms up the whole time. And bring those arms back up. We're gonna open the arms to the side. I want you to turn and rotate to that leg. It's still engaged, so it's still pointed through. We're gonna lengthen that spine up as we bring ourselves forward. Again, you can take your hands and place them on your legs here, or you can take your arms up and over your head for a little bit more intensive work. Think about a long spine. Bring it back to center and open up. And we're going to switch to the other side. So stretching is as important as anything else that we do. Remember, when you want your body to work in the long term, it's going to have not only stability, but it's also going to need to have mobility and flexibility. So that's a big part of being able to keep our body strong and active, is the kind of flexibility, mobility part. We're again lengthening up through the spine. We're pressing through that toe. That whole leg is nice and engaged. It's going to stay engaged the whole time. Knit those ribs together. We're going to take that opposite arm up and over our head. And again, you can either reach with your arms here. You can just place that arm on the floor. Or if you want a little bit more, you can add that weight to your stretch. Rarely do you ever find dancers doing a passive stretch. All of their flexibility comes from these isometric stretches where your muscles are contracted while you're lengthening through them. And bring it up, open to the side. We're going to rotate our torso toward that leg. And again, you're gonna long spine as you reach up and over. And if you want, just place your hands on the legs, but we do wanna have our spine as straight as possible. If you want a little bit more, take those arms over your head. And bring it up, bring it back to center. We're gonna come into good old butterfly. I don't think there's a fitness system on the planet that doesn't use this stretch, and it just feels so good. So we're here, we're gonna stay in our butterfly as we stretch and work into those shoulders. So we're gonna open this to the side. Keeping your spine nice and long. We're gonna take that up and over the head. You can kind of keep it here. You can reach up and grab, or if you can come back and around and grab your hand, you can do that as well. And release that one. We're gonna go to the other side. And up. So again, you can just be here, or you can be here. You can come in and around. Just make sure your spine is straight as you do it, so we don't want to like curl in to get our shoulder up. And release. Bring those knees in and together. We're going to come up onto our feet. We're going to come into that good old yoga squat. Bring your feet out to the side. If this doesn't feel good to you, you can make any kind of an adjustment or do any kind of a stretch that you want. It's a really good one for opening up those hip flexors and the lower back. And we're going to place our hands on the floor. Press those hips up to the ceiling. Walk your feet into where they're under your hips in a parallel position. Lengthen through that neck. Let it drop to the floor. Let the shoulders drop. Press the heels into the floor. Weight still a little in the balls of the feet. As you lengthen through the spine, nice and straight, bringing yourself all the way up to standing, and take a breath in, and again, and then our palms are going to meet at the top and bring them down to the heart. Thank you all so much for being here with me today, giving yourself the gift of movement in your body. Have a blessed day.